I'm Miss Becky, School Liaison at the Cary Library, and today I'm going to go over a lot of the fun things the library has to offer kids like you. Links to a lot of the stuff that I'll go over can be found in the video description. Let's go! Oh, hi! To get the most out of the library, you probably want a library card, but don't worry, yours won't be this big. It'll fit in your pocket. To get a library card, you can come into the library with an adult from your household. You have to live in our library district though. But if you don't live in our library district, you can still check out a lot of our traditional items with your home library card. What can you check out with your library card? Well, here at the library, we have our traditional items, which are the things you might expect us to have, like books, graphic novels, magazines, audiobooks, CDs, DVDs, and video games. You can also check out our non-traditional items. These are things you might not expect us to have, like our launch pads that are tablets that are preloaded with games, our library of things items, which are special equipment that you can check out like a GoPro, and our wired for science kits that are activity kits with different science experiments you can do, like this hydraulic robot arm. Some of this stuff, like the GoPro, is a little expensive if you were to damage it, so we want your parents to check it out for you, but then you can use it at home. Here at the library, we have more than just materials for checkout. We also have computers, printers, and free Wi-Fi. We even offer programs that you can attend for free. We have art, science, technology, and entertainment programs for kids. To see what programs we have coming up, you can check out our online calendar, link in the description, or you can look for our newsletter in your mail. This fall, a lot of our programs will be held virtually online, and we'll even have some on-demand programs available on our YouTube page. More than just our programs can be found online. You can even check out ebooks and e-audiobooks online. These are books you can check out from home and then read on a computer, tablet, or smartphone. We have several different services you can use to check out these books, including Digital Library of Illinois, Access 360, and Hoopla. Now that you know what the library has to offer, let's learn how to find books to check out. To find a book, start by going to our website, caryarealibrary.org, and locate the catalog search bar. Here you can type in a specific title of a book you're looking for, or just a subject you want to know more about. For example, I'm going to type in baseball. Once I type that in, I click Search the Catalog, and it redirects us to the specific catalog website. Here I can see books all about baseball that the Cary Library has or that other libraries have. If we click where it says Search Options, we'll see that the limit by is set to all member libraries. That's because Cary's part of what's called a consortium, which is a group of libraries that share books between one another. If we want to know what's just on the shelf at the Cary Library, we can switch that to Cary Materials and then click Search again. I'm also going to change this sort by from publication date to most popular. That just changes the order that it's going to show us the different books in. And then over on the right-hand side of the screen, you can see different ways to narrow your search. One way we can narrow our search is by format. We can select book if we only want physical books that would be in the library. We can change our target audience
we would want to choose juvenile because juvenile is the word that libraries like to use to mean kids. We could also sort by lexile if we knew our lexile number, or literary forms such as fiction or nonfiction. Fiction is books that are made up stories, and nonfiction books are comprised of true facts. So if we wanted a book about actual baseball players or baseball stats, we would want nonfiction. But for right now, I'm not going to choose anything specific for that, and we can just see what comes up. So in total, we have 357 results. This one here is a book that I really like. It's called 42 is Not Just a Number, The Odyssey of Jackie Robinson. It's by Doreen Rappaport. And we can see that the Cary Library owns 3 copies, and all 3 copies are on the shelf right now. That's what that 3 of 3 means. Where it says call number, it lists it as J Bio 796.357 Robin RAP. That's a really long call number, but the most important thing I want to point out right now is that it has actual numbers included in it. That 796.357 tells us that this is a nonfiction book. So this is a true book about Jackie Robinson. If we wanted to find this book, we'd have to write down that whole number from the J to the RAP at the end. That is like the book's address. And just like with an actual address to your house, if you want to find someone, you have to have the whole address. Like if your friend told you that they lived in Cary, but they didn't tell you their house number or the street, you would have a really hard time going to your friend's house. But if you had the house number and the street address and you knew it was in Cary, you'd be able to find them in a few minutes. It's the same thing for these books. If we only knew that this book was in J Bio, there's hundreds of other books in that same section, and it would take a really long time to find it. All right, I'm going to now switch to fiction to show you what the call number of a fiction book looks like. Let's look at this one, Soar by Joan Bauer. Here we see that there's 1 of 1 copies available at the Cary Library, and its call number is JBAU. That's much shorter than the nonfiction book's call number, and that's because all the fiction books are in one section and they're only sorted by the author's last name. The nonfiction book used the Dewey Decimal System, so that's why it had all those crazy numbers in it. Now that we know how to look up books and how to find their call numbers, let's go to the actual library and figure out how to find them on the shelves. As we finish up our catalog search, let's say we want to find Soar by Joan Bauer. The call number for that is JBAU. That means it's going to be in the juvenile fiction section. Let's go. This is the juvenile fiction section. We can tell because it says it on the end cap. On the end cap, there's also ranges of letters. These correspond to the other part of the call number, in our case, BAU. They also correspond to the author's last name. We want to go to the beginning of the alphabet. Here we see the range A to CHE. This is the aisle we'll go down. Once we're down here, we can start looking at these labels on the spines. Keep going until you get to the part of the alphabet where your author is. And here at JBAU, we find Soar by Joan Bauer. Now we can check this out. Let's say from our catalog search, we were also interested in 42 is Not Just a Number by Doreen Rappaport. This book's call number is J Bio 796.357 Robin RAP. That's going to be in the nonfiction section, which is right behind me. The nonfiction section also has a label on its end cap, and you can see that there's ranges of numbers on each aisle to let you know which one to go down. Our call number was J Bio, which means it's in the biography section. I'll show you where that is. Here we have our juvenile biographies. All the biographies are kept separately. But after that, it's very much the same as finding regular nonfiction books, where you look for the number on the spine that corresponds to your call number. We're looking for the 700s. Actually going to be over here, 796. Here it is, 796, 357, Robin, RAP. 42 is not just a number. It can be pretty hard to find books sometimes, especially in the nonfiction section. There's a lot of things you have to look at, but the more you practice and the more you come in to find books, the easier it gets. But don't forget that if you're in the library and you can't find the book you're looking for, you can always ask a librarian for help. If you place a book on hold in our catalog, you'll get an email or a phone call when it's ready to be picked up. When it's ready to be picked up, you can find it on the hold shelf under your last name. Then you can take it to check it out at the self-check or the service center. And then you're free to take it home and keep it until its due date, which will be listed on the receipt. You can let the library know that you want to pick up your hold from our drive-thru. When you pick up a hold from the drive-thru, an adult can drive you to the hold pickup window where you can show your library card and check out the book that you have on hold. Phew! That was a lot of information to go over, and we're almost done. But before I say goodbye, I want to take you on a quick tour of the library. Come on! This is the kids section where you'll find the J fiction books, picture books, J nonfiction books, and everything you need, like the computers. These shelves have the new kids books on them. So these are books that came out within like the past 4 months. Let's go. Back in this corner, we have the kids' DVDs, one of my favorite sections, and new releases are highlighted with a news sticker. Let's go this way. I have something really cool to show you. Back here on these pull-out drawers are where we keep all of our video games for the Wii, Nintendo Switch, Xbox, PlayStation, all of it. And when you're ready to check out, you'll come to the service center. This is also where you can ask a librarian for help if you're having a hard time finding something. And if you want to check out by yourself, you can use the self-checks. That's pretty much it. For the time being, masks that cover your nose and mouth are required to come into the building. And if you're 13 or under, a parent or adult guardian must come to the library with you. Thanks for coming on my virtual tour. Bye!